Hello everyone, welcome back to Learn English with Manpreet Kaur. So today we are going to do very important thing that are verbs. As if you know that we were doing parts of speech, we have completed nouns, pronouns and adjectives. So today we are going to do the verbs. If you haven't seen those videos, you can just go and see those videos also to get the proper review of the parts of speech. So now fourth one is the verb. It is a very important topic, I should say, in English that has to be covered and has to be understood in a proper way. You can say it is the most important thing of the English. Without these verbs, you won't be able to write and even talk in English in a proper way. A single verb, a single verb can make a full sentence, but a subject, object even can't make a full sentence, nor even noun, pronoun. They too need the help of the other verbs, other words you can say. But in verbs, only verbs can make a full sentence. Okay, it can make a meaningful sentence like come. Come is what? Verb. So I am saying come. So that is making a full sense. Okay, so be very careful with this verb. Let's get started. See, verbs. First, let's start with the examples. Then I'll tell you the definition. Then more examples. Then types of verbs with more examples. Ram plays. He has a bat. He is a good player. Now you have seen all these sentences. Now first, how the sentences are formed. Subject plus verb plus object. Isn't it? In this way the sentences are formed. Subject means this, Ram, and verb is plays. So it is making a sense. Ram plays. He is a subject. He is what? Subject. Has is a verb. A bat is an object. Now you can classify which one is subject, which one is verb and which one is object. Clear? These all three combines can make a sentence. But only verb alone also can make a senseful sentence. He is a subject. Is a verb. A good player is an object. Correct? See, now let's start with a definition to make it more clear. A verb is a word or group of words. Is a single word or many words which says what a person or a thing is, has or does. Got it? A person or a thing has means what they has and what they does. Does means action or what happens to a person or thing or what is happening to them. If you do an action, something happened to you in the same way. This is a verb. Subject does or it shows an action or state. Subject here means what? Subject does means this subject. Ram is a subject. So Ram is doing, Ram is playing, Ram is showing an action. What is Ram doing? Ram is showing an action of what? Of playing. The subject does. What is this subject doing? Is doing or showing a state of action. I hope this definition is clear. We will make it more clear with the types of verbs. Till here it must be clear to you all. Now let's start with the transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. Now you know what is the meaning of transitive verbs? As from my very first video, I am telling you, just read the word. In it only half of the solution is covered. Transitive means to transit or to pass on. Got it? To transit or to pass on to the subject. See, Hira heard a noise. Now Hira here is a subject, and what did this is a heard is a verb and a noise is an object. So subject Hira, what did it heard? A noise. So Hira heard a noise, so it is transited to an object. To an object. Same way, Pushpa plucks a flower. Here plucks is a verb, Pushpa is a subject and a flower is an object. So what does Pushpa is doing? Pushpa is plucking a flower. Pushpa plucks. So it is transited to an object. If you won't pluck it, then what happens to object? Object will not be plucked. It will be still on a plant. But she has plucked it. So the action has been transited from subject to an object. Means it has been passed on to the subject to an object. Correct? Now intransitive verb means, as the name suggests, yes, correct. And now you are telling me, very good. As the name suggests, it does not pass on. It does not pass to anyone. It passes on. What? It passes on. Transitive means action is passed on. What is passed on? Action. Action is passed on. In this, nothing is passed on. Okay? No action is passed on. No action is passed on. So, Hira runs. Hira runs. Anything is passed on? No, Hira is just running. Hira runs. Karim laughs. Nothing is passed on, isn't it? Nothing is passed on. So, these are intransitive verbs. Correct? These are intransitive verbs. Now, the next verbs are the action verbs and the stative verbs. Action verbs, stative verbs. Action verbs are also known as dynamic verbs and stative verbs are also known as state verbs. So don't get confused. These are 4 verbs. These are only 2 verbs. They have two names. As action verbs is also known as dynamic verbs, stative verbs are also known as state verbs. Now what? Now understand the meaning of this. Action verbs means I am doing an action. Action. Stative, state verbs. No action. Okay? As its name suggests. Simple rule. Now next, let's do some sentences. Then you will understand it better. She bakes cake. So action is required for baking cake. Yes or no? Obviously yes. Action is required for baking a cake. I go to market. Now if you have to go to market, go to cinema, go to mall, is any action required, or you can just sit and you can go to market? You can do shopping. No, it's not possible. So action is required. So I go to market. I go to mall. She bakes cake. She cooks food. These are all the sentences. I can write only 2 to 3, but I am telling you more than that, so you can write it. I go to market means an action is required. But in stative, no action is required. No action is required. He seems sad. He seems sad. Any action? No. If I am sad, am I doing any action? No, I am just seeming I am sad. You can see me as a sad person. He seems happy. He seems cheerful. Why sad? Please be cheerful. He seems cheerful. I have a house. It's okay. You have a house. I too have a house. Any action is there? No. This is stative verbs. I have 3 cars. Wow. I have 3 cars. Any action? No. I have just 3 cars and they are parked. No action. I like cakes. I like cake. I like mangoes. I like apples. I like fruits. So any action is required? No. These are just the sentences in which no action is required. This is just the sentence that I am facing or I have or you have. Now let's understand more the difference. In this, action verbs and or not and or dynamic verbs, action verbs can be written in continuous forms. They can be written in continuous forms. When I will be taking tenses, then I am making this more clear continuous forms. But till now, just for now, just understand that continuous forms are the words in which we use ing. Means at the end of the word, I will put ing. That is continuous verbs. In these verbs, we can use continuous forms of verbs. Like, she is baking a cake. Is this correct? Correct or not? She is cooking food. He is cooking food. I am going to market. I am going to cinema. So if I am writing ing also in this sentence, then do a sentence is making a sense. But if I am writing in this, in stative verbs, can they make sense? No, not at all. In this, they will not make a sense. Let's see. He seems sad. He seems happy. He seems cheerful. Can you say he is seeming cheerful? Seeming? No, not at all. No. I am having a house. No, this is not proper English. I am having 3 cars. No. I am liking cakes. No, this is not in proper English. So, in this, I cannot use ing. So, just keep in your mind, when the action is required, you can use it in a continuous form. But if an action is not required, it is just a state of being, then ing cannot be used. Is that fine? You can just take a screenshot or just copy these to understand in a better way and revise it in a better way. Now in this type of verbs, what are we going to learn about? We are going to learn about auxiliary verbs and the lexical verbs. These are very confusing name, auxiliary verb and lexical verbs, but they have other name also which are very easy, like helping verbs. Auxiliary verbs are also known as helping verbs, and lexical verbs are also known as main verbs. So as the name suggests, helping verbs are the verbs that are used with the main verbs. As the name suggests, it helps the main verbs. These helps the main verbs, but they do not have their own meanings. Means these are used just to help them. They are used to help them, but they don't have their own meaning. So what's the difference? They do not have their meaning. They have their own meaning. Main verbs have their own meaning, like playing, studying. These are main verbs, and playing, it means that a child is playing, so it has its own meaning. Okay? And like this, you can, for example, I will. So what you can? If I'll say only you can, so will you be able to understand what you can? I will, what I will. There is a need for something. There is a need for something which has to be filled over here. Then only it will make a complete sense. Because what is a sentence? A sentence is what that makes a complete sense. But in this, complete sense is not making. So, these are the auxiliary verbs and the main verbs. Helping verbs, and these helping verbs tells us the time of the thing which is to be done, which is doing. Okay, means this tell the tense or the time, tells the tense of the sentence, that at what time the subject is doing. Okay, these are the examples of auxiliary verbs. be, do, have, am, are, been, can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, ought to, need, used to, dare. Okay, these are the helping verbs. I'll be making a separate video of all these words with their sentences. We'll be giving you the practice sheets as well. If I'll be making sentence of these now, this video will be very lengthy. So we will cover this in the next video with the practice sheets too. Okay, now I have already told you about the transitive verbs and the intransitive verbs. When I have started with the verbs, I have told you about these two only. So these two come under the main verbs. That's why we have completed in the very first section of this video only what are transitive verbs and what is intransitive verb. As the name suggests, action is passed to an object. Pushpa plucks flowers. Pushpa is the subject, plucks is the verb and flowers is the object. So Pushpa is doing what? Pushpa plucks the flowers. Action is passed to the object. If I am doing something, if subject is doing something, it will bring action to an object. Okay? In intransitive, no action is passed. Nothing is passed. Kareem laughs. I play. You smile. So anything is passing on? No. If he is laughing, let him laugh. Kareem laughs. No action is passed to any object. Means object remains untouched. Okay? Now you can see and you can write it down or note it down or take the screenshot of the same. Now these are regular verbs and the irregular verbs. These verbs are very important to know for you all, as these verbs tell you about the time that when the sentence is occurring, when the things are occurring. Like this I have divided it into two parts, regular and irregular verbs. These are the regular verbs column and this is the irregular verbs column. So you'll get to easily know. See, regular verbs are very easy. We just add ed to it. What we add? Ed to it. Okay, like pull, pulled, pulled. Present, these are the base words. These are the base words. So we can say this is a verb 1, this is a verb 2 and this is the verb 3. Okay. Now this is the present form of the verb. This is the past. This is the past participle. Okay. Now first one is like this: pull, then pulled, then pulled again. So what we have added? We have just added ed. Kiss, kissed, kissed. Want, wanted, wanted. Talk, talked, talked. Hate, hated, hated. Love, loved and loved again. So these were the regular verbs. We can make these verbs by just adding ed. To make a sentence, present sentence into past, we just add ed to a word that will easily make a sentence to its past form of the verb. Correct. Now irregular verbs. We don't have to add ed. Then what we have to do? Come, I'll tell you. You have to just write it like this. These are some different words. So you just have to go through it once. No need to just learn it, just understand it. You'll get to know. You have to read it twice or thrice to retain in your brains. See, first one: buy, bought, bought. Catch, caught, caught. Go, went, gone. Take, took, taken. Sleep, slept, slept. Wake, woke, woken. Drink, drank, drank. So these were the irregular verbs. There are many more words like this, but I don't have the space to write the hundreds of words. So I have just written these for the examples so that you may understand that what type are irregular and regular verbs are. Okay. So this was your verb video we have completed the verbs successfully. You can revise these verbs. You can go through this video twice or thrice to retain everything. I hope you like these verbs, and just share it with your friends, near ones, dear ones, so that it can be useful for them also. Okay? Then bye-bye. Thank you for watching, and if you like the videos, please subscribe my channels for more such learning videos. Bye-bye.